We've had lots of questions about how to make pizza dough. So we're having pizza for lunch with some leftovers. I will post a picture of it. I've made sure that my water is right at the right temperature that it should be for the yeast to activate. You want it between like 105 and 110 degrees. Any higher than that, and it's going to your yeast. So, 1 cup of water, 1 tablespoon of sugar, and 1 tablespoon of yeast. Give it a good stir. The sugar helps the yeast to activate. There's lots of pizza recipes out there. This is just our favorite one. I've used it for years, and if it's not broke, I fix it. We're going to let this sit and get foamy and bubbly and activate. While my yeast is activating, we'll go ahead and get my flour and salt mixture mixed up. Need 2.5 cups approximately. We'll tweak it a little bit after we get it done. So 1, 2.5. Now we'll mix that with my salt. 1 teaspoon of salt. You can use garlic salt, regular salt, doesn't matter. I switch it up back and forth. We like to use garlic salt if we're going to use this recipe to make like breadsticks. This is a very versatile recipe. Give that a good mix. My yeast was definitely showing very happy signs of activation. It's sitting over there on the wood stove, staying warm. You don't want to get too warm, it'll kill your yeast. You've got to be very careful. A lot of times in the past when I have made things, I've been like, why is it not turning out right? I did not have the right temperature for rising, for yeast activating. Temperature does matter. It's important. My yeast is good and frothy. It's been sitting for a few minutes over there by the wood stove, so it's good and ready to use. Now we want 1 tablespoon of olive oil. I add this to my wet ingredients. Give it a little stir, and then I will add it to my flour and my salt. And that is all of the ingredients in pizza crust. Warm water, sugar, yeast, olive oil, flour, and salt. It's a very simple recipe. Usually everything that you've already got on hand in your kitchen. I make a little, it's called a well, I guess, in the middle of my flour mixture. Just pour my yeast in it. Then we mix. As you get it really mixed, it's going to look like it's not going to mix properly, like there's ingredients left in the bottom. But I assure you, if you keep squishing down with the back of your spatula and just picking up those loose ingredients, everything on the side, and just do it with the back of it. I love my wood spoon for this. This is my favorite. You can use your mixer, your KitchenAid mixer for this. I've just never found it necessary to do. It's extra cleaning for me. So you just keep adding it to and then pressing it down with the back of your wood spoon. And then all of your ingredients are together. It is very, very sticky. That is totally okay. Let's see, we want to add flour as needed. That's the next. I always forget. I get my instructions. So So this is where we want to make sure it's not sticking on our hand. This is still sticking on my hand. So that means that it's still too wet. But we don't want to add too much flour at one time because you don't want it to be dry. If your flour is dry, it's just not, it doesn't make for good bread. It doesn't make for good pizza dough, for anything good. So you don't add too much to it at one time. I'm going to get all of my extra off my spoon and start hand kneading it at this point and really getting it good and mixed thoroughly. It's a little bit messy. It's okay. That's what we have water for. Some of us running water. Some of us not always. Looking at my husband, hoping he's not giving me a dirty look. I added probably less than a quarter cup, just a dab, a handful into it, and it's already like the perfect consistency. Now I can mix it, touch it, and my hands are dirty from getting it off the spoon, but it's not sticking onto my hands anymore. The more you knead it, the more it's going to, if I can do it on the table to give a better idea of what it looks like. I'm going to add some flour onto the surface. You want it sticky, but not coming apart and like sticking onto your hands or your surface. This dough recipe will make 2 small pizzas or 1 large pizza. And we're going to try something new today that we've not done with pizza dough, and we're going to make it in a big cast iron dish. I've always done a pizza pan, and it always makes a huge mess. So I'm going to try it. See, now it's sticking to my hand some, so get my extra flour that's left over. And just keep turning it. The olive oil in it really does help it not stick. See how it can stick, but it's not staying on. That's what we want it to do. I'm not going to add any more flour to mine. I probably added a full quarter cup past what the instructions say, and it's sticky, but it's tacky. I guess not sticky, tacky. That would be a better word for it. Now, we've never used cornmeal before in making our pizza. We're going to use it today. See how it turns out. I don't let it sit, but you can see, do not over flour your stuff. I know it is so hard to do. As it absorbs, so if you let it sit for a few minutes, things will absorb in and really get like a perfect consistency. If you keep adding flour to something because it's tacky, then you're going to over flour it. It's going to be dry. It's going to fall apart. So you want it not sticky, just tacky. Right now, it's tacky. It's not sticky. So that's the consistency that we want. I used to work at Domino's and Little Caesar, so we'll see how. We've got leftovers from yesterday that I'm going to put as pizza topping. Last night for dinner, I made a chicken with onions, mushrooms, spinach, and I added a heavy cream to it, garlic, butter, and it was olive oil. It was so good. So we had leftovers, and it's kind of heavy. It's got a lot of heavy ingredients. We had it with baked potatoes last night. But I was like, oh, I bet this would be good on pizza. So we're going to to try that and see how it turns out and have it for lunch today. I've got my big deep dish cast iron pan. I think it's a Lodge. I've never made pizza in this before. I've always used like a pizza pan. So I'm going to lube it down with my vegetable shortening. All right. I've greased up my big pot that I'm using with my Crisco vegetable oil. And we're going to relocate the pizza crust. I've got my cornmeal on it. We're going to see how that goes. It's the first time I've used this pan. So it's going to be like a deep dish. If you go to Pizza Hut and you order the deep dish pie, that's what we're going to be looking at. Now, I always take a fork and stab mine down. And I do that because we get bubbles, cooking bubbles in it, and then one spot will like bubble up and all of your toppings will fall over and off of it, and you don't want that. So it has been stabbed down. And then I've got my leftovers from yesterday, a creamy chicken, spinach, garlic, onion, mushroom. And it was so good. Oh my goodness. I had it warming up on the wood stove in the living room. It's got cheese in it, but I also chopped up some mozzarella to put on top, just to make it a little extra cheesy. It is very rich, so I had thought about making more sauce to put in it, but this is so rich in itself. I don't think it needs it. We had heavy cream from when I came back into town recently for ice cream that I haven't made yet, so we used some of it for this meal. We need to get some more powdered heavy cream. It's got tons of seasonings in it. So normally I sprinkle pizza with like Italian seasoning, garlic powder, onion powder, salt and pepper, but like I said, this sauce was so rich that I don't think it needs anything else. We're going to cook it at 450. And it usually takes like 15 to 20 minutes, depending on how well you like your crust done. It just takes experimenting with. So she is ready to go in the oven. All that spinach and chicken and cheese. She looks so good. It's pizza time. We're going in the oven. 450 degrees. Hopefully this is not a bad call using the deep dish pan. I hope not. All right, my timer is going off. I set it for 17 minutes, so we're gonna see. Oh, that looks really good. Let's see if it'll focus. I don't think it's quite done yet, but let me... Here, Kira, hold that just like that, please. Thanks.
Look at that delicious thing.
We don't have power turned on right now to conserve on solar, so.
Look at that delicious thing.
It might be done. Let's.
Look at that delicious thing. Look at the crust.
Yeah, it might be done. We're gonna give it like 2 more minutes.
No, that thing is ginormous.
Very good pizza. It's gonna make for great leftovers. Okay. Pizza should be perfect. That smells good. Oh, and it looks just right. Oh my goodness, look at this thing. That looks good. Yeah, obviously I can't tilt it, but that looks amazing. Yay. Golden, crispy. We have not had lunch yet, so we're gonna just dive right in and give her a shot. This has chicken, mushroom, onion, garlic, mozzarella, spinach, heavy cream. I've never made it in a big pan like this before. I've always done it on a pizza pan. So look at that. Oh, looks so good. And we're gonna let Richard try it and see what he thinks.
I think
I'm sure it's gonna be. I'll use the fork to test around.
it's pretty hot. So
Yeah, it literally just came out. I mean, you were here for that, so. I really like this idea. Thank you for. Is it good?
Mm-hmm.
He's melting, so that's a good sign.
Oh, wait a minute.
Oh, we need the balsamic glaze. Oh my goodness. If you guys have not added a balsamic glaze to your pizza, you are missing out, especially with chicken. So good.
Balsamic glaze on pizza is really amazing.
Kira even likes it too.
Are you kidding? I love it.
It's so sweet, but it just adds like a whole dynamic to.
Look at that. Put the balsamic glaze over. It really adds to it. Especially a white sauce chicken.
Do you want balsamic glaze on yours, Kira?
Sure.
Is it good? Mm-hmm.
I made it way better.
And it just makes it so pretty and colorful. So, yay! Pizza was a success today. This pizza crust can be used for any kind of sauce, any kind of toppings. Tweak it, make it your own, play around with it a little bit. But this is a really great way to have like a baseline to getting kind of to know how to make
Mom,
pizza crust.
listen to the sound.
It will not last. Yeah, it's still sizzling.
It sounds like a bumblebee buzzing in the pan.
Do you approve?
Huh?
Do you approve? Kira
Yes.
approved for pizza? All right, make your own and tell me how you like it.